Hey guys, this is Ash and you're watching WriterGAsh. Happy New Year! I am so excited for 2022. Hopefully it's better than 2021 with the way the world's going. But we won't talk about that because we have the Caraval series to talk about. So if you know anything about Caraval, you know it is a magical world with a competition. So Scarlet enters the Caraval, which is like how I imagine it is a circus competition, and she participates to find her little sister Donatella. And today I am here to tell you guys I am doing the Caravalathon, which is a Caraval inspired readathon. And I'm gonna link the Instagram below that created this magical game reading adventure for us. So let's go into discussing Caravalathon. Before I go into what I'm planning on doing for it, let's talk about what it is. I'm gonna read you what the creator has said on their Instagram. So Caravalathon is based on the Caraval series. However, you do not need to have read it to participate. Most of the places, people, and ideas will be straight out of the book, but with a twist. So you can enjoy this even if you have not read it. So if you have never read Caraval, this is the perfect time to do it as part of this readathon. You can participate without having read it, or you can just participate because it's a fun game. So this whole thing begins January 1st, and I'm hoping to be posting this January 1st, so today, and it will end on February 1st. You have two main goals. Read some books on your TBR and have fun. There are two ways you can play. You can be a participant, which is what I'm planning on doing, or you can be an observer. You can participate. If you participate, your goal will be to go to different locations, talk to people, and use magic items to find clues and solve the mystery, basically, which is to find a person. If you're an observer, you can explore the same locations, magical shops, discover other people, like precious secrets, and befriend performers. Your experience is entirely what you make it. And there is no pressure of finding clues. So like if you decide to participate and read one book, it's totally fine. It's completely based on how competitive you are, which, knowing myself, I'm really competitive. So how will you be doing all of this? You will be reading books that you already plan on reading. Each location, magic item, or friendship will come with a prompt you must complete. So there are different prompts for most things for observers and participants, but the location prompts are the same for everyone. So if you're like, there are 12, I believe, location prompts that you have to complete if you want clues from those places. And then you can prioritize which ones you think might be more important to help find the missing person. Every time you complete a prompt, you will get a clue. So for example, it would be to go to the ocean and read a book with the blue cover, or the fairy wine will cost you 3 secrets. And then there are prompts for all of these things. After you finish a book, you will finish a form and blah, blah, blah. If you're participating, definitely look into it because it's all important information. And then there's also a Discord where you can talk to different people who are completing the prompts and participating in Caravalathon. And it's just super fun. Okay, and then the main goal is to find Neil Dalto. So Neil Dalto is one of the many participants joining the Caravalathon, joining the annual Caraval, and he's missing. The goal this year is to find him. I might do some vlogs, some updates about like my journey through Caravalathon and keep you guys updated. And I hope you guys participate so we can talk about this because it sounds like such a fun readathon. I think this is the most excited I've been for a readathon in a really long time. All right. So first is the location prompts. So when you go, so you read certain books and go to a location basically. And when you complete it, you get a clue about what to do next. And I believe you can get like magical items as well. And it's gonna be so much fun. Anyway, so the first location is Castillo Muldito. And it is to read a book set in a different time. For this one, I have selected The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. It's been on my TBR for a while now, and I even painted the book, so I thought, why not freaking read it? The next is Cytocart, and it is read a book with an animal on the cover title. For this one, I have The Shadi Setup, which is a contemporary romance with there you go, tiny puppies on the cover. So there's animals on the cover. And I thought picking contemporaries would be more useful because I can read more of them in a month than I can fantasies. But I somehow ended up with more fantasies than I expected. And then one of the rules is if by the end of the month you can't get to as many books as you thought you could double up on some books. So for that, I have Lore as my backup book because I also have Lore for a different prompt. So the next is Covered Bridge, and it is to read a book set in or near a body of water. For that, I picked Hook, Line, and Sinker. It's been going viral on Instagram and on TikTok, so have to read that. The next one is Dress Shop, to read a book inspired by mythology. This is what Lore is for, really. Next is Emerald Green Tonic Tent, to read a book while drinking your favorite drink. You can literally read anything, and I am not cheating when I say this. Water happens to be my favorite drink. I'm trying to think about a drink that I can drink to replace water, but water is literally my favorite drink. I'm not trying to cheat, but it literally is. I could totally drink wine while I read this book, I guess. Yeah. Okay, that's what I'll be doing. I'll drink wine while I read this book. But for this, the main book I have is Paris is Always a Good Idea. It sounded like a cute contemporary. I'm watching Emily in Paris again for the second time after finishing season 2 because it's just a fun show. It's a bit cringy, but it's a fun show. So yeah, I was like, Paris is always a good idea. Sounds like a good idea. But my backup book for this would be Recipe for Persuasion, which is for another prompt, but in case I can't read as many books, and it seems to be an important clue, I'll read Recipe for Persuasion. The next is Fountain of Despair. Read only when it is dark out. Super easy. I mostly read at night. For this one, I have The Boyfriend Project. I read the second book in the series earlier and was going to read this one, but just got into a reading slump and never got around to it. But I plan on reading this only at night. And I've got a backup book for this one as well, because obviously you can read any books for these 2 prompts. But I've got Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors. And then there is Hatter and Haberdashery, a book that has a ball or dance scene. For this one, I have A Gathering of Shadows. I've read these books before, The Darker Shade of Magic before, but I can't remember. But I saw this was one of the recommendations on the Caravalathon document that they have up. They have a recommendation documents, and this was there, and I just bought the book, so I should definitely take advantage and reread a series I love, which I was planning on doing anyway. Use your TBR. The next is Jade Kissing Tent, a romance, which this is where the Recipe for Persuasion originally was meant for. And then La Serpentine de Cristal, a book with Found Family, A Conjuring of Light. I definitely think A Conjuring Light would fit because there is a relationship between Kel and Reese. They're literally like brothers. And then there is the Found Family thing between Delilah, Bard, and Reese. And it's just, in my opinion, it's a found family. Okay, next, Rose Carousel. A book with a plot twist. Freaking Darker Shade of Magic. That had to be it. If I'm remembering right, definitely plot twists. Next is Rose Colored Tent, a book with tattooed character. So for this one, I have one last stop because I've read that the MC has tattoos. Otherwise, I'm gonna double count Hook, Line, and Sinker for this one as well. because I think there is one character, not an MC, in Hook, Line, and Sinker that has tattoos. And it doesn't say MC, it says book with tattooed character. So any character with a tattoo will count, in my opinion. And then the last one, The Glass Tavern. Book with a bar, pub, or tavern scene, which is most books if you consider a bar. And then for this one, I'm choosing Pride, Prejudice, and Other Flavors. Next thing that happens in this series, in this thing, is to find like magical items. And these magical items have prices associated with them. And you've to, a lot of it's like posting stuff on Instagram, which, perfect. So first one for the magic item prices is burnt sugar cider. And the price is the last lie you told. So basically you post a photo on your Instagram and then you play two truths and a lie. And I am planning on posting a few pictures on my Instagram showing you guys some of my new stencil work. So check out my Instagram linked below. Next is the champagne colored gown, and the price for which is your greatest desire. For this one, you post a photo of a book you love or books you love, and then tag some accounts you love. And check out my Instagram, guys. And then the next is minty spritz. And then the, what's that called? The price for that is a piece of useless information. And you just have to message the Caravalathon account with a random fun fact. And I've got mine ready to go when I have to do it. The next one is the last magical item, which is the pipe organ donation. The price is any amount of coin, basically. And the prompt is post a photo or post something related to Caraval. And I've got some posts queued up to go for that, ready for when the time comes. The next thing is the people you meet that can help you along your way. So as a participant, you have less magic items and then less people because you're obviously trying to solve a thing and you're not observing basically everything. So for us, we have the opportunity to meet 3 people, and for these prompts, you also have to read some books. The first person is Akio, and to meet Akio, you have to read a book with a Black, Indigenous, or person of color main character or author. And I decided to go with Incense and Sensibility with POC MCs and author. So thought it would be a great pick for this prompt. And then Akio will point you to a location with a more valuable clue than others. So it'll help you solve it'll help you find the person faster. The next person is Jovan. To meet Jovan, you'd have to read a book with colorful cover. For that, I have The Layover, clearly a colorful cover. And then Jovan will basically replace any prompt that you find too hard to complete. I'm not sure, but I might use it for one of the books that might be more hefty on my TBR, maybe lore. Anyway, last person you could meet is Julian. And Julian will basically help you if you have all 12 clues and still can't figure out what's his name is. And to meet Julian, you'd have to read a book with a character who has scars. For this, I decided I could totally reread Throne of Glass because Aelin Galathynius has scars, both metaphorical and physical. Anyway, so yeah, that is my plan for Caravalathon. I think I might use the Jovan, like the replacing a book with to replace lore because it's a big book and a big commitment. And yeah, most of my others are contemporaries, pretty easy to get through. And I feel like it'll be super easy to get through the Darker Shade of Magic series because it's pretty short for a fantasy and it is a book I already love and have read before. Might save lore for later if I can, so I might use it to replace the book inspired by mythology and just read the shabby setup for the animal cover. Let me know how I could do better to make this challenge my bitch, because I'm so excited for Caravalathon. I think you guys should participate because it sounds like the most amazing readathon I have ever participated in. So dive right in, guys, and join me for a month of fun and Caraval. Remember, it's just a game.